Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Lazarus match, or as Cybert has quite kindly pointed out, the second place or decider match, whatever you want to call it, but fighting and vying for second place in Group C of the round of 16, we have in the bottom left-hand corner of Overgrowth, representing FOX Gaming from Europe, it is Kunamatata. I want to say Kunamatata. Kunamatata?
And in our northern position, I believe representing Heaven vs. Hell, this, a Red Terran player, is noMADe.
No, I'm joking. Alright, never mind. Okay.
But in the south, I mean, Kunamatata, he is respecting noMADe. Check out this SCV scout. He's like, is there any chance you are proxying something? I want to find it.
Yeah, and I mean, he's going for everything. I feel like generally on Overgrowth, you want to check your gold base, or not around your gold base, but between your third base and your gold base, or basically to your third base and to your gold base is where you check for proxies, and then to your fifth base. I'm saying it really generically, like there's three key positions, but I can't convey the locations of them without just being pinging them.
However, it's into the 1-1-1 for both of these guys, and that's, I mean, these two builds are almost exact mirrors, basically, until this point, going for that one base double gas opening.
Yeah, and the double gas really, really strong. You just have so many options to go into that, but what it looks like is, I kind of want to say early Banshee because of the double gas and instantly getting the tech lab on the factory instead of going for Hellions or something to do early harass. I have a really strong feeling it's probably going to be Banshees here, and it's going to be what's going to be key here is yes, even moving the factory is which player is going to take that natural base first, and that's going to be the player that's going to have a little bit of issues.
Now, there is a possibility that noMADe... Nope, never mind. There's no possibility that he's going to go Raven first, but there's always that chance where if one of the guys has that inkling, that suspicion that his opponent is opening that cloaked Banshee, which actually, for noMADe, it's going to be cloakless. So maybe he's looking to go into Raven after this. But of course, then the defense against cloaked Banshee is oftentimes that Raven, if you're already going that way yourself. Yeah. So maybe they both go one Banshee into a Raven. That's not that's fairly common.
Yeah. Also, what happens sometimes in TVT is the factor, instead of going reactor on it, you'll do tech lab and then do a siege tank Raven Banshee Marine push, which can be really, really scary just because it's so... It's not necessarily output, but you just have so many options and so many ways to attack. It's kind of scary to defend off.
In this particular case, it is the Raven for Kunamatata, and he's actually the guy who doesn't need the Raven because noMADe isn't going Cloak, interestingly enough, but instead, noMADe ended up switching out that factory with the Tech Lab, so he's producing Siege Tanks and a Viking. Cloak is going to be finishing up, 8 seconds left there for Kunamatata, and it will be going in for the Scout on the Natural.
Yeah, no natural down yet at all for noMADe. Well, the natural of Kunamatata is being thrown down, and he's got the Raven. Even though there's no cloak, he will have that high ground advantage and possibly be able to push out later in the game. But the natural will be denied for now.
One thing that I like seeing with Ravens, which rarely happens, and understandably so, is when players go for a little bit of a Raven harass. Maybe they're dropping auto turrets, maybe they try to Seeker Missile something here or there. And it's great to see, but I totally understand why people aren't like, I'm going to move out with my expensive Raven early game and try to do some random damage.
Viking. Yeah, one Viking, yeah, you're dead. Like, a Viking goes faster than a Raven, so you're literally just dead if it catches it.
Yeah. Occasionally we'll see that sort of stuff do some really cool damage, and then you're like, man, more people should do this. But I totally understand why they don't. But yeah, like you were saying, natural expansions, Kunamatata so far ahead in that timing. Other than that, the build's very similar.
Similar, but for now, noMADe's actually pushing out, deciding not to get that cloak to give him a little bit more gas to get these siege tanks out. But off the back of this, he's expanding in his main. I feel like he's really, honestly, I'm going to say he's scared here, because if you're moving out, you expand, you move out, you expand in your natural, and you move out. You want to take that optimal position. And if he sieges up right now, it's going to be really, really big. There is no air support, though, for noMADe right now, and no scan. Yet Marines pushing forward, actually taking out the siege tank. Only the Banshees left, and a Viking for noMADe. As I said, there is air support, but no Raven here. And wow, that turned really, really quickly. And I think it doesn't really matter where his second command center is right now. He's pushing hard.
Yeah, those extra 2 siege tanks, like you were saying, with the siege up at just the right time, totally obliterated Kunamatata's force. Now, the nice thing is this Banshee can potentially just walk away from here and then recloak, come back, and do some damage.
In Kunamatata, 2 Vikings over the other side of the map. I'm kind of confused why. Maybe it was a misclick, or maybe he's trying to park himself on top of the production. But for now, it is only one tank of noMADe, which he did lose the other. Actually, sorry, the other 2 on the right hand side, which can attack into the natural base. But for now, he's got to be really careful not to overextend and just lose everything here, because Kunamatata does have the defender's advantage.
Ooh, these Vikings, of course, they're doing battle in the sky. It needs to be careful, though. Kunamatata wants to maintain air superiority, and now those 2 Vikings that you were referencing earlier are coming all the way back to join up with his friends. And there we go. Banshee finally going to be moving over to take some pot shots at these siege tanks. And, noMADe actually donates away his last Viking, so now Kunamatata has complete air superiority, and he's got that extra vision.
Even though noMADe is being pushed back here, his natural base is almost instantly saturated when he goes down to it, unlike the natural base of Kunamatata, which he actually is sending SCVs now that he's gotten rid of those siege tanks. But both players actually kind of on even footing, surprisingly enough.
Now, the transition into a very quick third, well, comparatively very quick third for noMADe, could potentially lend him into that economic advantage. We'll have to take a look at exactly which third base he wants to take. You can take kind of the more aggressive one, and sometimes that's indicative of a player who wants to push out and make a big, parade push. Or he can take the one off to the left. And they do have different implications, but this Banshee on the right side potentially looking to poke in and do some damage.
Yeah, like you were saying, if he does, that Banshee will be able to harass it for a little while, but deciding to get Command Center up first, and that's going to leave him with 1 scan right off the bat. He probably is going to mule with it, but he does have that option now. He will see it in double engineering by also going down for noMADe, trying to get his upgrades up, but Marines being pushed back and actually losing them 4 SCVs so far. It'll actually even go up to 5. Wow. Just get a little bit of damage done, and he's going to have that extra scan from that orbital command, which he would not have had before because he muled.
Oop. 6 workers in total. He could have gotten a couple more if he would have focused. Maybe a slight misstep there from Kunamatata, but not too shabby, picking up an extra 6 workers, and he already did a bit of damage with that Banshee in the first place. Ooh, this is kind of a mistake from Kunamatata. He could have sniped that tank earlier. Even with the Banshee, he could have taken it down. He decided to not, and he will pay the price with only a couple of Marines, so not a huge deal. But the 3rd CC is finally going to be on the way for Kunamatata.
Yeah, and the same for noMADe, by the way. Like you were saying before, he will be taking that eastern spawn position on this map. And this is gonna, I think, and from obviously with the siege tank line, yes, you can be aggressive, but it's always siege tanks don't move, they siege up. So you want to take in a nice position, maybe aggressive, maybe a little bit better, but I don't really think it matters that much for now, especially, I mean, both players very even on their upgrades, and neither one being too crazy.
Yeah, we have seen noMADe be the more aggressive one in this game. And everyone knows siege tanks do fantastic damage to Marines, especially when they get nice and clumped up. So in some cases, being the aggressive one can allow you to take all sorts of different parts of the map. But again, this is TVT. One misstep, so many Marines can die. You can go from being ahead to being massively behind.
Yeah, I would have preferred that noMADe got Combat Shield for these Marines, because he is clearly going only Marines. He's not building Marauders to go along with this. He may now adding 2 more racks in, but he's clearly not making any Marauders or anything to complement these Marines, this siege tank force. So I think he should have actually got Combat Shield a little bit earlier. But for now, he's not going to be moving in, holding back, and I think that's really precisely what he wants to do.
Yeah, maybe that move out was just more of to guarantee that his opponent isn't moving out, so he knows he's safe to take that 3rd. As it is, of course, again, considerably ahead of the 3rd timing for Kunamatata. Now, the armory did finish up for noMADe. We may see him add on those 2-2, and that could create a very nice timing window. If he's able to pump out those 2-2 faster than his opponent, he could have a serious upgrade advantage coming in to the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. For Kunamatata, for Kunamatata's armory is a lot earlier than yep. Sorry, some inside joke, I guess, going on. But yes, noMADe's armory a lot quicker, and he may be able to do a little upgrade lead, but he's decided to move out now. Combat shield is done, and the combat shield of Kunamatata is nowhere near done with these Marines. So if these tanks can get sieged up, they're going to do a very good job here. Stimming from the right-hand side, siege tanks are sieged up, and Marines, some nice splits. I don't even want to say splits because I don't know if that's what he's doing, but just parting the army up.
Parting the army, much like the Soul Train. At any rate, these Marines stepped forward a little bit too far.
The great Kunamatata parted the Red Sea. It is red, though. Man, this is red.
Unfortunately, that's noMADe who's going to be partying those units. But the 4th CC on the way for noMADe. He's got so many Marines on that production tab. Well, okay, I guess not so many. But, 9 at a time is quite nice to see.
I just need to clarify myself right there. Kunamatata's the one sieging up and hitting the unit, so then those units are forced to split. So he's parting the Red Sea. I'm sorry, I felt really confident about that thing right there, but yes. noMADe going for a nice poke on the left-hand side. Just enough Marines. He actually may take out all these decent amount of these SCVs here. 6 gone so far, 7, 8, 9. And this is actually forcing Kunamatata maybe to move back now. He does have these siege tanks, but very little Marine force. As I say, that Marines are kind of streaming in now. These Marines are 1-1 to the 2-2 of noMADe, which is actually about the exact same of Kunamatata. He didn't really take that lead you were talking about earlier that he may.
Yeah, he had an opportunity to. He did not capitalize on that opportunity. And even he's going to be letting a supply depot in his main base get burnt to the ground from that drop, because Kunamatata went for a bit of a drop. It ended up doing reasonable amounts of damage. Actually, I think it was equal damage. And, hey, that supply depot means that Kunamatata's attack was actually more powerful.
Yeah, and Kunamatata and his main finally moving them, but he did have, let's see how many, he had 16 workers just hanging out in the main, not quite doing anything there. They will be moved on to this 3rd base, but we see from noMADe taking a 4th base, and his 3rd base is up fine, and he's got to be careful. I feel like he's probably going to lose these siege tanks unless he gets out of here, but he's definitely in a position where he's got a great economic lead, and he does not want to throw it away, but he actually, he may catch these, he may catch with medevacs.
At least it's not 7 medevacs loaded up with bio units. The 4th base landed for noMADe. He may be looking to do a bit of damage and deny once again that 3rd base. He did it once, and that was a great move. He was able to push away those SCVs. That was a lot of lost mining time for Kunamatata, and then, of course, he did kill those extra SCVs, which is always nice. But can he do it again?
Yeah, we see here noMADe trying to do that again, like you were saying, and his unit's not in the greatest concave here, but they are getting a decent concave. We'll actually focus down on the 3rd base. We see the Marines of Kunamatata stemming up, but actually getting in the way of that siege tank fire, but both players kind of have to pull back now. We see 16 Marines loaded up, though. Or sorry, is that 16? No, not quite.
Kunamatata once again forced back. The 3rd base completely annihilated, and now noMADe, well, I guess it was like the 4th base in a way, but noMADe can be confident that he is ahead in that economic front, and he's even noMADe getting into the production of Kunamatata and doing some nice damage.
Yeah, he's done a lot of nice damage so far. noMADe has been very, very consistent in doing that, just harassment damage wherever he can. And so far, he has killed, it's actually 15 to 16 workers killed, not too crazy. But noMADe is down 15 workers right here, which is really interesting, actually, surprisingly enough, that he's on 3 base and almost going to a 4th. He's been muling very, very heavily.
Now this base, this faction over on the right side is going to be drawing up for a nice attack here. Even the SCVs being pulled, having to get on in this action. 13-14 going down, and once again a flank coming in for noMADe, cleaning up so many of these tanks. He's crushing through this army.
noMADE's had beautiful army position during the majority of these games. And GG, noMADE takes game 1.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Decider match. This is game number 2. Then this is, of course, the ASL Season 4 Vanguard League, round of 16. This is Group C, and to continuing our day of Terran versus Terran, which is what most of today has been, we have in our southern position from, well, I don't actually remember his team name. This is Kunamatata.
I believe it is FOX Open or Fox. I want to say Fox, but I know it's an acronym, so it's FOX Gaming. Is what I meant to say, but yes. And his opponent in the top spawn position of Vonnie Research Station. In the blue trunks, representing Heaven vs. Hell Gaming. Currently up 1 game. It is noMADe.
All right. So now I want to talk about the thing that we were actually talking about in between the games and that the chat or the stream did not hear us. Because this is shaping up, what Kunamatata is doing is shaping up to a thing that I was describing to you, Drunok, which is where you go for the kind of hidden racks, and then he's not actually getting a reactor on it. So this is not the thing that I was talking about, but this is similar. So what we actually saw was, it was a different tournament series, but it was, I think, Siege Mode versus Team Gravity's Beast, which Siege Mode from Team Ascension, and basically it was like hidden second racks, but with a reactor, and so it was triple Reaper production. And I thought that's what this was going to be. That.
Yeah, I can see that. You don't see that as often. You normally see double racks, which is exactly what he's doing. But noMADe's Reaper is going to be at the base faster. It would be Kunamatata's base faster, but it will be pushed back from this at-home Reaper. But then the Reaper of Kunamatata is actually getting some stuff done in noMADe's base.
Yeah, now we're at the point where the Reapers can tip so far in the advantage of Kunamatata. I mean, he's 3 Reapers versus 1, and once these Marines get out, then noMADe will have a fighting chance. But if the control is perfect, Kunamatata will absolutely dominate.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, especially with 3. Oh, he does lose that one. That's it's pretty hard, but he will see how he's going to engage into these 2 Marines. He can beat 2 Marines. He's got to have a little bit of micro here, though. And, he's got to be so careful. He cannot lose either of these Reapers. If he loses either of them, he's pushed back. And I was just going to say, to your build, I can imagine that, but I think it would have to be, like, really proxy, not just hidden. It would just have to be legitimately on the other side of the map. But also, you could do it on your side of the map because the double reactor was the reactor would compensate for not having it. I can see that working as a build, though, is what I'm trying to say. I can see that work.
And then it transitions into bio, so you're all right if you want to go bio. But this micro needs to be perfect. Kunamatata cannot really afford to lose too many more of these Reapers. He's already down to 1, which he would not like to be. He does have more Reapers pumping out, coming across the map.
Yeah, but there's no starport in sight for these Marines, so 2 Marines killed really quickly, and now 4 Reapers going crazy. And like we were just talking about before after the last game, is that Kunamatata, he has not been that aggressive, and him being aggressive is really, really favoring him right here, and he's doing quite well. We see Marines trying to come out and actually double Hellion, and he has to, I was going to say, these Reapers have to just go for the SCVs, and the Hellion is what is going to save him right here.
Yeah, now this is another point where the control needs to be good, because these Hellions can technically die to the Reapers, but they might actually end up going down just to the sheer numbers because of how many shots those Reapers got off from the beginning.
Yeah, and back at Kunamatata's base, I'd love to see him throwing a couple more barracks. That's actually what he's starting to do because he has so many minerals. But Hellions just barely actually make. Oh, they don't actually kill all of them. They almost killed 2 more.
Yeah, 3 Reapers still managed to escape. I don't know. Okay, so 12 SCVs ended up going down, so I suppose that was worth it considering we've got 26 versus 13, a literal double of workers, until I added on the 2 more, but a literal double of workers at that moment there.
As a caster, whenever you say, like, unit comp, you're like, wow, 5 units! Oh, wait, like 20 units. But yeah, so both Reapers, actually barely 2 Reapers got alive, losing 1. Pulling back for now, but off the back of this, Kunamatata, as we were saying, has got to be aggressive. That's what he's doing. Stim pack and +1. To boot, he's got he's got triple, he pulled the barracks back into his main, but he's got double barracks reactor on the way, and this is going to be looking pretty scary. Or triple barracks, actually.
Now, the starport is kind of that missing part of the build. And actually, all right, so the barracks building is lifting up after finishing off that tech lab. And this is in the base of noMADe, as you were referencing the extensions in Kunamatata's base. And noMADe is going to be dropping the starport onto that tech lab. Yep. Yeah,
the starport on the tech lab now, allowing him to get Cloak and a Banshee now. If noMADe can really pull the army out of position, or if Kunamatata gets a little bit too aggressive, this Banshee may be able to punish him. There's a nicely placed missile turret in the natural of Kunamatata, but I don't know if that's enough to actually deal with it. I mean, I doubt it's enough.
He's coming back into that main base. He's like, hey, I still got Reapers. I'm not done with you. As Goodbye One of the Mules, really nice focus fire here. He's very specifically targeting those mules. He's very specifically going for those more valuable targets, even picking up 3 SCV kills to boot. And he really hates this barracks.
Yeah, I mean, he's going town on the barracks. The entire army of noMADe being pulled back and actually pulling SCVs, man. He's trying to get rid of that right there, and it will be pushed back. And Okay, all right. Stimpack actually was canceled. Stimpack was canceled right there. No, it wasn't canceled. It was stopped. The barracks, the tech lab, the tech lab was stopped. If you see on the right hand side of the screen, Stimpack is stuck at 9.5 seconds. If you go to everyone, it was canceled. Or I think it's gone now. Never mind. I'm sorry. It's gone now, but Stimpack was canceled.
So if you were talking about Kunamatata's Stimpack...
No, noMADe. noMADE Stimpack. He was getting a Stimpack, and the tech lab was destroyed, I think.
Because I think I know what bug you were talking about. But yeah, it's like an interface bug. But at any rate, this Banshee for noMADe, it is managing to hit that kind of awkward timing of it's too late to be a fast Banshee, but it still manages to do that damage.
Yeah, and that's almost the best part. If your opponent thinks it's coming or doesn't, if you hit later, you're already like, okay, it's like a DQ rush. After the 7-8 minute mark, like, okay, I mean, no DQ rush is coming. I'm fine. I don't need to worry about that. And he's got to be so close. He will lose his Banshee after 1 hit here on 5 health. And 1 Marine should one-shot it. Oh, blah! What? 1 Marine does 7 damage when you have +1, and it would have one-shot it right there, but it decides not to.
Those Marines are so low on HP as well. I mean, that Banshee could have stayed just off course, or just stayed off the edge there and actually sniped down a couple of those Marines. Maybe a little bit of a lost opportunity, but no big deal. Now, once again, Kunamatata. Oh, wow, hey, this second Banshee is actually coming in as well, but there's the stim push in, no scan, and noMADe won't be able to snipe down that Banshee just yet.
Yeah, that Banshee really nicely being placed there for at least now. And for noMADe, I mean, he's actually moving out to take a 3rd base here and just constantly producing Hellions. And I think this is a good idea. I feel like definitely, as we were saying before, the reactor on that barracks just allows you to go into a lot of bio. Now, obviously, Kunamatata's kind of mixing in biomech here, but the Hellions are very, very powerful versus that Bioforce, which he's scouted and scanned over and over again.
Yeah, and also we saw Kunamatata dropping the scan directly on that 3rd base pretty much exactly as it was being taken. I think that the first Banshee ended up just going down there. So it's a little bit sad for noMADE, but those Banshees have...
Micro.
Oh, wow, he's actually going to be dropping these Marines.
It was almost cool until he hit that cliff.
He like ran out of boost just a little bit too early, and the Banshee still escapes with 28 HP. Ugh. Kunamatata has to be feeling so bad about that.
Yeah. For now, noMADE, the one thing I'm a little bit worried about is that he's not going to be getting any upgrades for these Hellions or the siege tanks, while Kunamatata is moving out with 1-1 and 2-2 actually on the way. So it's looking a little bit scary for him. These Hellions, yes, they can defend, but I was saying 1-1 Marines with combat shield and Stimpack are so powerful.
Yeah, now these Hellions are going to be moving into the medevac lineup, and they do actually both get picked off. Now, there is quite a few Hellions still on the defense for noMADE, but this is a reasonable split of Marines. Oh, even the Banshee gets picked off, and here's the big push forward.
Kunamatata stimming forward really aggressively. Siege tech's not even sieging down, and everything literally is destroyed. GG! Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final game of tonight. This is deciding for who will be going to 2nd place, and 1st place is Zode in Group C. But on Catalina, in the 1 o'clock position, representing FXO Gaming, it is the Red Terran, Kunamatata.
And in the southern position, playing blue as Terran. He had a commanding game number 1, but can he finish the series out? This is noMADE.
Oh, I like that. I like that intro to start off this lovely game. And we're seeing from both these players, I mean, The same from noMADe, but Kunamatata kind of doing what we saw in the previous game, except for in the previous game he didn't even proxy the bear axe. He just kind of made it in weird position. He's just kind of hiding it.
No, like this is actually, I saw this the first time I saw this build. It was on Catalina. The position of the second Rax was a little bit different, but I mean it was Catalina, and then I think Siege mode just went like infinite
Mass Reaper, man.
Yeah, like infinite Reapers, and he ended up making like some critical misclicks. Like, it was just like, oh, well, I guess you misclicked too many times and now you lost everything. But he would have won.
He would have. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm starting to see more viable. I don't really know where the reactor comes in, but definitely the double racks. It's not an 8/8 Reaper, nothing as crazy as that, but it's a little bit of aggressive, yet it's still kind of safe. So I'm liking it. We see first Reaper coming in, and actually both these one Marine's a little bit low on health. If he can do some proper kiting, he may actually be able to kill it, but he's got to be really careful not to die. He will die in 2 shots.
Nice.
3 shots to that Marine.
Oh, that was very nice from noMADe, but with this second Reaper on the way, it's just now going to be heading out across the map, and of course with the healing from those Reapers, they will eventually wear down these Marines.
Yeah, and especially with this kind of the same thing, if the Marines had the medevac, they'd be able to do something. The Hellion finally out, and I don't know if you saw it, but I think the Hellion jumped right there. The front 2 wheels came off the ground and like surged forward. I don't know if it's an animation I've just never seen, but that was really cool looking. 3 Reapers now for Kunamatata, and 2... Basically, he reared like a horse and stampeded forward, galloped forward, man. 3 Reapers into the base, and they're going to start working on double Hellion coming out, but I think that maybe is slightly too late, or maybe not slightly too late, but definitely not so great. He's got to be very careful to micro this, but once the 5th and the 6th Reaper come along, and if he can hold at that level, he's going to be able to deny any buildings being made and most everything else.
Yeah, Kunamatata was like, wow, this Reaper play was so great in the last game. Maybe I'll try it again, and it's paying off. Maybe not in big dividends as he does have to be very careful. One Reaper goes down.
They could have a little thing. 2 more Reapers though. Like, hey guys, we're good.
Oh, no, Reapers at the top of the ramp will get 2, 3, even 4 volleys off before these Hellions return any fire, and that is a dangerous spot.
Oh no. Oh, these Reapers so low on health, they will die instantly. Oh, Kunamatata. Okay, I don't want to say he made a critical. I mean, yes, he did make a critical escape. Escape, man. He only killed 4 workers. While noMADe's like, I got my starport up, I got my Hellions up, and maybe... sorry, Kunamatata. Yeah, no, noMADe. And Kunamatata, though, on his side of the map, I mean, he's getting his natural up, but I don't know how this is going to work out for him. This is not looking too good for him.
Yeah, so noMADe is falling behind in those workers, but he's got such an army supply advantage. And again, he actually canceled whatever that add-on was, but with the much faster natural, if Kunamatata is able to survive through the next couple of minutes of this game, or maybe noMADe just puts on no pressure, but one of those 2 things has to happen. Either Kunamatata needs to hold this pressure very, very well, in which case he'll have that nice economic lead.
Yeah, and that'll really benefit him. Kind of not a saving grace, but he'll have redeemed himself in our eyes from that bit of a failed. I wouldn't even say it was the micro. I just think he should just pull them back. It wasn't even microing. He just pulled them back and leave them back there. But 1 Hellion for noMADe, seeing what he can see. And wait, did he not even know where his opponent was? He didn't even know where his opponent was before that scout.
Yeah. Which at first I thought he was going to be doing a big move out with the Hellions, and then he just split off 2 of them, and it was like, oh, he is... I forgot that he, of course, can't see everything like we can.
Yeah, man, something's happened. Oh, and these Reapers make it... That's literally all the defense there are. There's a bunker here, but these Reapers are... these Hellions are going to have full control of the natural base. Yeah,
they're going to have full control of that natural, but... I mean, assuming this orbital actually lifts off, as he's like, no, I don't even have to worry about lifting off. I'm going to build an SCV.
Yeah, he's like, never mind, guys.
Whoa! All right, I guess I won't build an SCV to let it die. That's fine.
Coolest animation ever. The little logo, when it lifted up, just gradually dissolved away. The logos next to the command center.
Yeah, some of the animations for like ancillary stuff like that look so cool. But the 3rd CC for noMADe did just finish up, so he was like, oh, you're going to take a fast natural? I'm going to take a fast 3rd. How do you like that?
We saw a guy, I don't think it was in Challenge, I think it was also in Vanguard, make a planetary in his main. I think it was a misclick.
Oh, so sick.
But he just, we were like, what's he doing? What's he doing? No, don't do this. So that's what I imagine, right? I think it was on this map, too.
I'm going for the planetary. I don't believe in mules.
I'm going to defend my main, guys. You're not going to be able to do anything about it.
And then just like all of his workers at the natural go down. He's like, oh, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. But for now, natural will be denied for Kunamatata. Kunamatata will be denied, while the triple SCV production for noMADe here doing pretty well, going into pure bio, actually getting out of siege tank, but still quite pure bio after this very fast Hellion. I mean, I don't know where you landed it. I don't know what your thinking is right there. Do you try to get a scan off?
Yeah, I guess he was scanning for that Banshee. Oh, I guess he did clean up that Banshee, didn't he? Yeah, he kills off the Banshee, okay. So he needed the scan. He takes a little bit more damage from those Hellions, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal. And of course, this is the power that noMADe has. He was like, alright, Kunamatata opened up for that silly Reaper build once again. Yeah. I went for lots of Hellions, so now I'm just going to deny your natural for, you know, up until the 11.5-minute mark.
Yeah, and Kunamatata, if he wants to take this down, yeah, he has to bring everything down. He cannot kill this without everything. And the Stims forward, actually, and splits pretty nicely, but I mean, just a couple Hellion bursts would annihilate this. And there is no medevacs yet, literally at all. Starport only finishing now, but +1 weapons is on the way.
Yeah, I think that that Starport is going to move over and take that reactor position, which will be quite nice for Kunamatata. He does need to start pumping out those medevacs. But with the triple orbital already completed for noMADe, he's going to be looking for that economic lead. And of course, noMADe, despite taking the some of the worker damage a little bit earlier, he's at that nice advantage.
Yeah, and I'm feeling like for Kunamatata, as you were saying, noMADe took that nice economic lead. Kunamatata's like, okay, I gotta go double reactor to get back into this game, just upgrade-wise. But I don't think that he cannot get back in this game macro-wise. I think he needs to make something happen aggressively, like we were talking about in Game 1, which he tried to do in the beginning, but it didn't really quite work. And I like this preemptive split, but I'm not 100% sure why he's doing it. Like, I mean, yes, you can get a split, but it's not like this Banelane is coming up the ramp.
He just wants to make sure. So if we take a look at Kunamatata, he had that great early game vision, and then after that, he's been basically completely locked out away from his opponent, other than the occasional scans he's been doing, but he has no eyes on his opponent's army.
Yeah, and the same thing for noMADe, actually getting decent Hellions, but they will not see this drop move in. But, oh, perfect, actually, sensor tower.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, covering completely that main, and it's like, people always talk about how big Catalina is in terms of that main base and how much open area there is.
Oh, it's huge,
but
yeah.
Sensor tower, hey, helps you fix that. I guess not if you only have like 5 Marines on the defense.
Yeah, not if only 5. And if they move in slowly, they will get annihilated like a meat grinder here. Siege tanks are sieging. Ooh, they should siege up soon. Actually, okay, they're deciding not to siege up. You know, whatever. Stim forward from noMADe. noMADe is at 0-1, while the Marines of Kunamatata, I believe, are actually the same. Yes, they are at 0-1, both only on 1 engineering bay. And I really like the 1 engineering play in TVT. You're not going too crazy for the upgrades, but you're just staying even, or early on you get just a little bit of an extra lead.
Once again, trying for this drop play is Kunamatata. It didn't work out super well last time, but he did that reasonable amount of damage. It wasn't like he jumped in there and he killed off the SCVs to gain back the lead, but he was, oh, actually, this drop going to fly into the drop of their opponents, and actually now these medevacs are just kind of looking at each other.
Oh, and at the third base of noMADe right now, we do see a medevac moving in here and dropping off. Actually, mainly Marauders getting a lot of damage done, though. And that drop for noMADe actually not destroyed. I assumed it was going to be destroyed, but he will get out of there alive.
Yeah, I mean, if he picks up right now, he can still escape. He's going to have to be careful because of that Marine position. And he's like, LOL, JK, you're blocking off over near the third. I'm just going to head to the high ground in between the natural and the third. Now, noMADe does have another drop moving out. It's going to be cresting over towards the natural of Kunamatata.
Yeah, and actually kind of deciding where it wants to go. The third base and the natural are quite well defended, especially with siege tanks in the natural. But for Kunamatata, I mean, he's decided to move out now. He did 2 medevacs. I'd like to see him add a couple more medevacs into this, which he does have them at home. Bring them now. And the scans go down, and both players actually perfectly spot each other. And this is going to be interesting how this is going to be played out, whether we're going to see, yeah, I mean, Kunamatata will be able to attack this high ground for a little while.
Yeah, the scan expires. He wasn't quite able to finish off that missile turret, but it will end up burning to the ground. A little bit sad there. However, this engagement, the tanks were not sieged. One of them does get picked off, but he has to be careful. Moving into this natural could be deadly.
Yeah, siege tank trying to do as much damage as they can, and actually medevac's getting in at the perfect time. They will they will inspire these 4 Marines to literally push off the entirety of that attack right there. Those medevacs coming in now. More Marines are in. Hellion. This third base is a little bit in trouble, but the one thing is the army's split up right now for Kunamatata. If noMADe moves out, he'll be able to take out the tanks and move into the third base and clean this up. But a lot of SCV going down to the third base.
Oh, and there's the attempt at the snap decision there for noMADe. He moves down. He is able to snipe down one of the tanks, but he loses so many of the Marines. Now the tank at the top of the ramp did end up going down, as well as that third.
Yeah, another third being remade, but on the other side of the map right now, Kunamatata is moving out into that third base and throwing down a lot more barracks. He does actually has 3 reactors on these racks, so 6 to 9 Marines at the same. Sorry, 6 Marines at the same time coming out right there. And right now, it's actually looking really good for Kunamatata. As we were saying, play aggressively, and you'll do well.
However, noMADe, he's looking to take that play himself. Oh no, this medevac could actually be spotted. If the Marines are paying attention, there's the stim, there's the pickoff. An excellent play there by Kunamatata.
Oh, medevacs of noMADe actually moving into the enemy, only losing 1 though in the entire army. And thrown back. Kunamatata still moving forward. He needs to retreat right here. He cannot take this main army, especially 1-1 to 1-2 right now for noMADe.
Yep, there's the push forward of the Marines by Kunamatata, but like you were saying, he can't quite take this if he's moving into those siege tanks. Now it's going to be a little bit of the reverse scenario, but noMADe is pushing forward, crushing through those tanks of his opponent. Yeah,
Kunamatata desperately trying to get out units. He can produce 8 Marines at a time right here, but I don't know if that's not enough to the 10 Marines. The siege tank going to right now for noMADe. Really, he just decided, you know what, I'm not even going to resaturate that third base. He's not making SCVs, and he's putting everything into... Sorry, for Kunamatata's not making SCVs and putting everything into units.
Yeah, will those units actually be enough? Will they be able to stop noMADe's push as he's clamping down near that third base location, kills off 20 SCVs that were transferring over to that third, and he's going to be pushing back that third. noMADe is saying to himself, you killed off my third, I want to return that favor.
Lol noob. You had to say that from your lol JK before. But right now for Kunamatata, the really nice thing is he still has 6-7 medevacs. Ooh, he almost could have lost a few if there was a nice scan on the high ground. But right now, still noMADe leading in. Sorry, actually, they are even now on upgrades. But noMADe will be. Sorry, Kunamatata will be leading very, very soon with 1-1 or one more upgrade on the way.
Yep, into the natural goes noMADe. His brave few units picking off one of the refiners, easy peasy there, and this natural orbital is under threat. This is what it comes down to for Kunamatata. It's do or die, 1-1. This is the last game. He's losing so many SCVs. If he holds this attack, can he hold the next?
Yeah, SCVs being pulled. GG! noMADe moves on, and second place in round of 16 Group C for Vanguard.